Hey, welcome back to the Freeze Dry Business. My name is David. Today I'm going to be doing Jolly Ranchers. Jolly Ranchers. Yeah, this is actually a really big hit for most people who are in the freeze-dried candy business, freeze-dried business, as well as myself. These are a really big hit because when the vacuum and the heat hits in the freeze dryer, it pops. And no longer a hard candy, it's just like a malt sugary ball. And it's really good if you have the window bags because marketing wise and just visually it looks really cool, and they're really neat. Freeze drying Jolly Ranchers is actually a pretty tedious process. There's no real way to unwrap them, and especially if they have any heat to it, the wrappers start sticking to the candy. So you do have to have a little bit more time, and so I'm going to show you how I do Jolly Ranchers and what size I do and the methodology and just the process so that you can see how quickly I do it. Maybe you have something different that you do with Jolly Ranchers. I've heard people use knives and also pipe cutters. I've never used the pipe cutters. I definitely know that does work, but I'm going to use a knife this time. So I'm going to set the camera down over here and we'll do a tray worth of Jolly Ranchers and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, so if you have a good knife, this is about the size I use, and then if you have a knife sharpener, I like to get the knife nice and sharp. It just makes it easier. And then these are the Jolly Ranchers. You can get them in the bag. Sometimes I buy them in bulk from some of the bulk grocery places. And it's actually a really easy process, but it just takes time cutting it. So I'm going to just show you what I do, and I just cut it like this. You can do two at a time. I cut them in half. Don't worry about the size. Sometimes when you cut it, you might think that it's too small. That's okay. But the key here is just how quickly can you get it cut and get the wrappers off so that you are getting them on the tray perfectly. Again, Jolly Ranchers are, I'm cutting, actually the camera's wiggling because I'm cutting it pretty quickly and hard, just because I want to get a really clean cut so I don't have to keep cutting, and also I don't get a bunch of crumbs from the Jolly Ranchers. And see, sometimes it just sticks like that. Now, with Jolly Ranchers, you want to make sure you're not using the name Jolly Rancher. Sometimes it's been going around that if you use the name Jolly Rancher, Hershey can get pretty upset about that, so you just want to make sure that you rename it. You can still use the name Jolly Rancher in the description. So I've gone through probably, I don't know, about 40 individual Jolly Ranchers cut in half. And I just cut as much as I can to a point. So having Jolly Ranchers is a big hit, and I think it's because the texture and just the visual part of it, when people see it, they're like, what in the world? A hard candy turns into that? And I think it's easy for us to say, oh yeah, it's freeze-dried Jolly Ranchers, but it's really not freeze-dried, right? Because what's really making this happen is the vacuum process and the heat. So that's what's making these candies pop. So if we had just a vacuum machine with a little bit of heat, all this would happen. But it's fun calling it freeze-dried. And see, this is the tedious part right here, taking off all the wrappers. And one thing that you can do that I found is put them, if you actually don't have a time to put them in the freeze dryer, let's say you have a batch already running, go ahead and put these on the tray and then stack them and put them in your freezer. It's actually a really good tactic I found because they don't stick together. They don't stick on the tray, like they don't melt based on your room temperature or things like that. So if I'm doing a lot of Jolly Ranchers at one time just to get ahead so I can do it every 2 hours or so, then I put these in the freezer. Okay, so we are done getting all of the Jolly Ranchers in here. Now I'm just going to put it all on the tray. All of them. So what I like to do is I like to line them up about 6 long. Sometimes you can go 7. And then I stack them about this close together. See, this one's a little bit bigger. You just kind of have to play around with it. It just really depends on how much you want to deal with them sticking to each other. I have seen people use these silicone mats that Harvest Right makes that has these little molds, but I still feel like you're going to have to like peel them off of those molds. So I just like putting them right here. Some of them will touch, and you just do that.